So we need to look at, firstly, the quality of fat that we consume, and then we also need to look at the quantity of fat which we consume. Moderation is often misunderstood, and even if it's understood, it's often mispracticed. People don't practice it well. So to understand the quality of fat, let's begin with understanding what happens to the food and the fat that we eat. Our daily food that we eat, every day what we eat goes to our digestion. From the digestion, from the stomach, that is, it goes into the small intestine, to the intestines, and finally from the small intestine it is absorbed as nutrients into the blood, right? So imagine every single thing that you eat and put in your mouth ultimately creates the quality of your blood. Our blood plasma changes about every 15 days, and our white blood cells change about every 21 days, and our red blood cells change every 120 days, which is 4 months. So if we are taking not the right quality of food, and especially not the right quality of fat, or the right quantity of it, it begins to affect the quality of our blood, which is what actually flows to all our organs and replenishes them. The nutrients in the blood on a daily basis is circulated to all our organs. So just imagine that the blood goes to, the liquids of our fluids of our body go to all the organ systems, and they say to the organs, I'm eating very supple, I'm very clean, I'm carrying a lot of good nutrients. Let me give you some good nutrients, and let me take some of your old fat. Let me take some of your old toxic matter, which is also often stored in the fat in the body, and it pulls it out. However, if we don't eat well on a daily basis, we are loading our blood with the wrong fats, with the wrong toxins on a regular and daily basis, and that blood quality, that fluid, when it reaches the organs, it's tired, and it says, oh God, I'm so tired, and I need to sort of offload a little bit of my fat to you. Can I do that? And that's how, step by step, poor quality food builds around our organs and creates more fat. It creates, that's where the blood is getting stagnated. It's not getting enough fresh oxygen, and so toxins are easily building in the fat around our organs, and hence the topic of fat. So let's talk about the quality of fat. We have fat in almost every food that we eat. Even wheat has a little fat, all grains have a little fat, certain vegetables have a little more fat, which is good for us. It's not like vegetables which have more fat should not be consumed. They should be, because they're vegetables. They have enough hydration, they have enough fiber, and they have enough fat. So it's a combination of what the fat comes with, which makes it more fluid, which makes more fluid and nutrient blood quality, and helps our organ health. If we have fat which is coming from beans, like rajma has got more fat than kala chana, but it doesn't mean it's going to make you fat. And so there is this entire, the lentils, the beans, the pulses, the grains, all of it put together has a certain amount of fat, but it has it with the right amount of minerals, the right amount of nutrients, and the right amount of fiber. And that is very helpful for the body for creating supple, strong, and healthy blood quality. Now, if we have fat which is coming from dairy source, like we have too much of butter, too much of milk, too much of cheese, a little bit of certain, especially the denser commercial dairy. For example, slice of cheese, cheese cubes, cream cheese. It's so dense and it's so condensed that it basically creates a sticky blood quality by a process that's called as red blood cell aggregation. So they aggregate in a way that the quality of blood is so sticky that because of that stickiness, the blood literally moves slowly and creates sluggishness. So already our oxygen supply, which is carried through the blood, becomes less to the lungs because we're eating too much of fat or fat from the wrong sources, and that's making our circulation in blood very sluggish. And if we take fat coming from animal protein, that's also very high in fat, and it also has a higher metabolic waste, which also begins to affect the blood quality. So this is about the quality of fat. The quality, the fat that we eat should really largely come from plants, and a variety of plants, not limiting your diet to just a few foods. And now let's talk about the quantity of fat. The quantity of fat is also very important, because quantity sort of almost reflects the quality, because even if we're eating the best quality food, if we overeat it, our digestion will not be able to assimilate or take nutrients from it, especially if somebody is suffering from a lung problem. And even if they're not suffering from a lung problem, anybody who's in absolute health, with age, with time, with a lot of factors, maybe the practices are not so great, our digestion in modern time is not at its best currently. And I really hope that we can create a world where we really begin to understand what kind of digestion our grandparents and their parents had, to create a healthier world, so we can enjoy more of a variety of food as well. So we need to pay attention to the quality of fat and the quantity of fat, and then the state of our organs. As we discussed in the topic of the relationship between lungs and between our lungs and other organs, we spoke about the role of spleen, and how when the spleen becomes deficient, there is excess phlegm production. And so if you're taking the wrong quality fats, excessive fat, and the organs are not functioning well, they just kind of lurk in the body and don't move out easily. And so it's important to look at the state of the organs, which is of course from the food that we eat, more structure and fiber in the food, creating more structure and strength in our body, as well as exercise, the right amount of exercise, movement, circulation, breathing work, yoga, deep stretching, all of this, and living life with a very good heart and motivation on a daily basis, which also actually, because the heart is so connected to our circulation, is actually improving our health circulation.